A routine stop on a quiet afternoon turned into a scene of pure humiliation. A white police officer spat on a black man in public, sneering with arrogance. But what he didn't know was that this man held the one title that could change his entire career in an instant. The title of his new police chief. The story begins on a narrow city street. The sun hung low, stretching long shadows across cracked sidewalks. A man walked quietly, hands in his pockets, dressed in a neat suit. His stride was confident yet humble. He was a stranger to most in this neighborhood, but he carried an air of quiet authority. A patrol car rolled up beside him, lights flicking once. No siren, just the presence of power. Behind the wheel sat Officer Daniels, a man whose badge had hardened his heart more than it had humbled him. Daniels had long since confused authority with superiority. To him, the uniform wasn't a symbol of service. It was a weapon of pride. The officer rolled down his window. "Hey, you. What are you doing out here?" The man turned his head slowly, meeting the officer's gaze with calm, steady eyes. He didn't answer immediately. That silence, polite, composed, felt to Daniels like defiance. "Don't ignore me," Daniels snapped, stepping out of the car. His boots hit the pavement with a thud that carried menace, and then it happened. The officer, sneering, leaned in close and spat. The saliva struck the man's shoulder, staining his suit. Gasps echoed from nearby pedestrians. A woman pulled her child closer, shaking her head in disbelief. A young man raised his phone, recording the scene, but the man in the suit did not flinch. He didn't shout. He didn't strike back. He simply brushed the spit from his jacket with quiet dignity, as though centuries of pain and resilience were carried in that single motion. What no one knew, not the crowd, not Officer Daniels, not even the man himself until a moment later, was that this single act of arrogance was about to set the stage for the most humiliating revelation of the officer's career. The silence after the spit was deafening. For a moment the world seemed to freeze. The man in the suit stood tall, brushing the stain from his shoulder with slow, deliberate movements. He didn't glare, didn't curse, didn't threaten. He simply looked into the eyes of Officer Daniels with a calm that carried centuries of pain, strength, and survival. But Daniels misread it. He saw silence as weakness, calmness as surrender. "You people think you can just stroll around here like you own the place?" Daniels barked, his voice sharp, his eyes burning with misplaced rage. "Not in my neighborhood. Not while I'm wearing this badge." The crowd stirred. Whispers began to rise. Did he really just spit on him? "Someone record this. This isn't right." Phones lifted. Cameras focused. Daniels noticed but didn't care. He was too caught up in his own pride, puffing his chest like a rooster in the yard. Convinced his power was untouchable. "Answer me," he shouted again, stepping closer, his finger jabbing toward the man's chest. Finally, the man in the suit spoke. His voice was deep, steady, and carried a weight that demanded attention. "I will answer," he said softly, "but not here." "Not like this." The words hung heavy, confusing Daniels. Who was this man who dared to speak with such composure? The man adjusted his tie. He didn't look like someone out of place. His shoes were polished, his jacket pressed. Every detail of his appearance radiated discipline. "Don't get smart with me," Daniels growled, stepping even closer. "You're coming downtown. I'll make sure of that." The man sighed quietly, not in fear but in something else. Disappointment, perhaps. He looked past Daniels for a moment, as if searching for something in the distance. Around them, the crowd grew restless. Some shouted at the officer, "Leave him alone. He didn't do anything." But Daniels was deaf to reason. He grabbed the man's wrist, twisting it roughly. Gasps erupted again as the officer shoved the man against the hood of the patrol car. "Spread your hands," Daniels barked, his breath harsh and hot with anger. Still, the man didn't resist. He complied, placing his palms gently against the cold metal. His silence spoke louder than any protest could, but deep inside something was building. Not anger, not revenge, something far more powerful. As Daniels reached for his cuffs, the man's jacket shifted. Just for a second, just long enough for the corner of something metallic to glint beneath the fabric. A badge. The crowd didn't notice. Daniels didn't notice. But the camera phones caught it. That flash of authority hidden beneath the suit. A silent promise that justice was closer than anyone realized. The man closed his eyes. "Lord," he whispered under his breath, inaudible to all but himself, "grant me patience just a little longer." Daniels shoved him into the back seat of the patrol car, slamming the door shut. His smirk widened. He thought he had won, but victory, as he would soon learn, was nothing more than an illusion. The patrol car rolled into the precinct parking lot, its tires crunching over gravel. Officers outside lifted their heads, curious at the sight of Daniels dragging in a man so well-dressed, so dignified. "Who's that?" one whispered. "No idea," another shrugged. Daniels pushed the door open, yanking the man out with unnecessary force. "Got myself a live one," he boasted, his voice loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. "Thought he could disrespect me on my beat." Laughter followed from a few officers, who always cheered Daniels on. To them he was bold, unflinching. They didn't see arrogance, they saw strength, but the man in the suit remained silent. His eyes scanned the building. The walls he knew too well. The faces he would soon command. Step by step they moved closer to the truth, and every second brought Daniels nearer to a humiliation so profound it would haunt him for the rest of his days.